Ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? Once again, I'm Nev from Nev's Stack Bits, otherwise known as your friendly neighborhood basement dweller. Don't worry, ma'am, I am from the internet. Today we're checking out Popular Mechanics 1975. 75 cents. Really? Okay. Inflation really went up, but still, that is pretty reasonably priced, I gotta say. I found out recently that these were translated into Spanish and sold in Mexico. I mean, of course they probably were. I wonder where else they got translated and sent over to. Up here, we see Reggie with Betty and Veronica in their old age enjoying the house that Moose made for them, I imagine. Anyways, man, I really need to learn woodworking, build some houses, and then women would come in just like birds to the bird feeder. Now, what we like to do here is take a look and see how society and how technology has changed. Because, man, we've definitely come a long way. Now, the reason why I'm going through these magazines is because I have come across a great deal of them that's unfortunately smell like mold. And I just want to document the stuff and talk about it as I go through it. The AMC Pacer. I've heard of this one. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I was to believe that these were one of the cars that were made in the 70s that individually, the suspension, the engine, the I don't know, the drivetrain, all of these things individually were great, but when you put them together, they didn't work in unison very much. Something about vibration or something like that. I need to look more into it, but I gotta say, I love the rounded design of this unit. And now that I mention it, I gotta say, I have never heard of AMC. That must have been the manufacturer, right? I was born in the late 80s. An advertisement for the insurance store, and it seems like it was kind of like the spirit of Halloween. If some place closed down, they just slapped a sign on it and sold insurance out of it. And I love that kind of utilitarian idea. It doesn't matter how beautiful it looks, it matters how it works. I, I like my ladies that way sometimes too. As we see here, Dodge gives you a wagon's worth. I wonder if those things, they must have had seatbelts. Yeah. Yeah, man, I would love to get a van like that and take the family out for a picnic somewhere. Refresh yourself. You can tell Buddy's sucking it in there. I don't know about you guys, but every strongman that I know has a big gut. I think Arnold Schwarzenegger said that once you're built and then you start eating, it just goes directly to your gut. My grandpa had a big frickin' gut. I thought he was fat, but then I found out that he was basically the Patrick Swayze of the Orangeville hospital at one point. He was like the bouncer, the cooler. What is up with some hospitals and some old folks giving nurses a hard time? I don't get it. Screet, top left, concrete. Man, I gotta mess with more concrete. I love the idea of messing with it. Unfortunately, I haven't gotten away with it too much. I wasn't exactly blessed with a lot of space in my youth to rip, tear around, or to get dirty with stuff like that, and that is why I have gotten really good with computers. Now, in my older age, I'm in my 40s, I really want to mess with this kind of stuff. I think I want to be a bricklayer because I really like the idea of building something that'll stand tall forever. You can kind of tell that this is the 70s because the art manufactured within here is watercolor and not so much airbrush. Nothing wrong with that at all. How to take care of a motorcycle. Man, I used to want a motorcycle when I was young, then I found out that most motorcycle folks know every inch of their bike. They know how to repair it, they know how to do all of that stuff, and I'm like, I just want to ride it. That kind of killed my gumption for it. But now that I'm older, I realize it shouldn't have. I could have learned as I went. So, you have to get particular spark plugs for particular engines, eh? Jeez, I thought all spark plugs were built the same, except some are made for lawnmowers. Shows what I know. Huh, I'm never too old to learn. Oh, and I remember learning about this in high school. Except the aluminum deposit, identifying. How the heck do you get aluminum in your engine? And again, maybe it's just part of what they put in the fuel, perhaps? We're getting so old that still has a different logo. I wonder if Briggs and Stratton ever made a chainsaw. Tell you what, Bobby, I trust Briggs and Stratton with everything just because the old boys in the factory told me to. Exciting new projects for 75. A new portable digital multimeter. Jeez. That thing's huge. New Heathkit color organ. Okay, that's new to me. Sorry, get more light in here. A DC oscilloscope. Okay, I really want one of those legitimately. Metered probe, emergency strobe light. Have a lot of fun with those things. I started a party up once with one of those. I didn't mean to, but I did. Um, color TV. I want to play with one of those. I probably will never be able to get a signal in on it. I've seen it advertised so many times in these magazines. I want to know about these. Holy snot, look at this pimp. Gabriel Strider takes on shockers. Takes the shockers out of buying shock absorbers. Buy three, get one free. Don't you need four of them? I like that suit. I would not be able to keep that damn thing clean, but I like the suit. I wish I had enough land that I would have the necessity for one of these things. A true lawn tractor. Hank Hill would love that so much. I don't know, Bobby. I'll tell you what, why would anyone want to do drugs when they could just mow the lawn? Seriously, if I had a ride on tractor like that, I would agree 100%. A little bit in me really gets excited when I see one of these old pole tents where you actually had metal poles. I bet a lot of kids don't know anything about that. My dad had one of those when we went on vacation. If he didn't want to spend room on hotel, we'd go camping, and he found out pretty quick it takes a lot of effort to take down camps. I think it took us 3 vacations before he figured that out. I remember one particular vacation, we were in a traffic jam and we just came up to a campground and we were like, screw it. We're going to go camping for the night. And we did. It was a lovely place. There was a giant rock, which I felt like was a mountain. And yeah, old pole tent. It was a lovely time. I want one. I want one. I want one. The Caprice. Get the wood finish. Man, I keep hearing about the older cars that they had that had a wood body, but in order to keep it up, you had to keep lacquering it up. You had to take very good care of the wood. I understand why, but I like the idea of the metal, and you don't have to re-lacquer it or whatever. I've never been to a horse race. I know that in Orangeville, Ontario, they had horses there. I know that for the longest time, the government would subsidize horse races, which is really funny because generally only rich people are interested in that thing. And it also kind of provides the fact that horses are hay burning money eaters. Generally, any woman that I know that has a horse farm comes from generational wealth or has married someone that has an obscene amount of money. I know people who make money. I know people who earn it and do everything they can to get it. And trust me, you don't make money on horses. I mean, if the horse races need to be government funded, it pretty well proves it. Oh man, I am unreasonably excited about this one. Popular Mechanic picks the top 10 fishing lures. I bet these days we got so much they could blow these things out of the water. The other day I was seeing a Facebook post about a $40 fishing lure that looked like multiple fish huddled together that would flap their tails in the water. I've seen this one a million times. Lazy Ike the Chugger. Sorry, I have to hold on this one for a sec. Sheldon Meeps Spindle. I'm kind of getting flashbacks to going through my old babysitter's tackle box. I swear I've seen most of these somewhere. Deja vu. Deja vu. I wonder how many of these they're still making. All right. Fabulous phono cartridges? Cartridges. I've never heard them being called that. The Brew Groove Contact Area. Huh. Interesting. So I can't get over how many different whatever you call these. You get the pin, sorry, the needle, but this part, the whole head, you could replace those, and it seemed like you could replace those, but would you? You'd buy the piece, but would you replace it? Would you actually? It would probably just sit somewhere, and you'd mean to, you never get around to it. But it was nice to think that you could. Let's take a look at the latest electronics in 1975. Neighbor girls are screaming because they're happy to be home from school. Sorry if you can hear that. Yeah, it looks like a calculator that actually has some strange tape. Think calculators are slow? Yeah, but they're a whole lot of fun. Man, I got one of those receipt calculators in front of my kids a few years ago, and they were just enthralled. They love that stuff so much. Anyways, and other calculators have no memory, so here's how you get the memory. How would you store that, though? That would be fun. It would be fun to play with. Now here we see the beginning of a scratched up box. So they start with rubbing up against it, and next the claws come out, and it's basically a giant scratching post. Ugh, yuck. Imports. Let's just move on. The pipe dream. Let's get some pipes going down the coast of Alaska. I tell you what, Bobby. I really don't get why people don't like pipes. You really want that stuff driving down the road? I'm not going to get into I'm not going to get into this. I'm not going to get into the argument. I love pipes. I love the pipes. I love the pipes. I heard about one pipe set that was going through Ontario that someone tried to explode with explosives. Didn't do anything, and it took years for them to figure out exactly what happened. There was another situation where there was a leak in the pipes. They didn't understand where it was, and they decided to put, I believe it was sulfur. They put sulfur in it, and then they looked for the buzzards circling. And when they found the circling buzzards, they realized where their leak was at. I like this guy wearing his sunglasses on there. He looks so cool. He just looks so cool. And there's his lady friend up there. She's so cool, she doesn't need sunglasses. No. I love lawnmowers. I love ride-on lawnmowers. What can I say? They're freaking awesome. I love lawnmowers. You can tell it's a horribly sunny day when the woman's eyes look like caveman eyes. I feel so bad about it. There's a chick I knew named Catherine who was more man than I'll ever be. And man, you seen her in the factory, she looked like $1,000,000. If you seen her in the sun, she looked like a caveman because of the way she had to squint. I shouldn't be talking shite about good looking girls. Wait, what? Oh, draining gas. Okay, I thought he was storing it like that. That doesn't. I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't look like it's super safe. For folding shower doors and stalls in 30 minutes. Well, I mean, you have to have a woman there in a towel, or you wouldn't know it was a shower. Am I right? Black velvet is always my favorite advertisements in here. This thing's gotta have been touched up quite a bit. I don't care. She's remarkable. She's beautiful. Some of the later Black Velvet ads just have the most stunning women on them. And if you ever held a woman while she's wearing Black Velvet right against her skin, forget about it. Oh, I love it. We found a bed long enough for two tall Jones. Nice. Nice. I wouldn't want to piss that guy off in a dark alley, eh? Datsun saves. Wait, is that a light tool that's not dressed up like RoboCop? It's the first time I've seen that. Huh. Check it out, they're advertising dowsing. Buried treasure. So my buddy is a plumber and he knows a guy that can use those perfectly, like really nicely. Authentic scaled windmills. Now, back in the day, what was it? What, like in the 50s, the 30s? You would have one of those windmills out in the middle of a field or even right next to your house so that it could pump up water for your family or for the animals. Huh, check that out. The pistol drill. Never seen one like that. Do they still make anything like that? That's lovely. I love it. Carlton is the lowest, and it actually shows you what filter and how much tar is in the cigarette. This must have been the time when people actually figured out that cigarettes do cause lung cancer. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's it from me, Nev from Nev's Tech Bits. April 1975, Popular Mechanics. Like and subscribe if you like this stuff. It's always appreciated. But more importantly, folks, take care of each other, will you?